Hello, members of the Kleros community. How are you, Jean?
Doing great, and you?
I'm doing great. Another community call, July 29, 2026. And we have a bunch of things for today. For now, let's start a bit with the fellowship. As you know, we are running the 10th batch of the Kleros Fellowship, this amazing idea that started in 2018 that got to have lots of people, researchers in law, in mechanism design, in business, lots of other categories that are doing research about Kleros, and they helped expand the knowledge about centralized justice in many different areas. Some of the greatest achievements of Kleros came actually from people who were doing research in the fellowship. For example, the very famous Mexico case that was the first ruling of decision made by Kleros that was accepted by a traditional court. It's happening in Mexico, in Guadalajara. And so this for this cohort, in every cohort, we propose a number of topics that we think are particularly hot for people to research. These are only ideas we have. People can still apply to other things they consider interesting, but some of them that is worth mentioning now is, for example, the interactions between Kleros and AI. We have been researching AI for a long time and how AI interacts with the Kleros protocol in different ways. For example, can be a tool to onboard cases into Kleros. It can be a tool to anonymize information, and could be a tool to make decisions. One of the main topics people are interested in is can you use an AI to decide cases? Well, I mean, you could, but under what conditions, and in which cases this could be seen as a fair method for dispute resolution, and in which cases it would be like a dystopian, right? In the sense of Minority Report type of situation where predictive analytics and all that. So these are really, really important questions that are being held today by scholars all around the world, and we are part of this conversation. We have published last week also an article at World Letters Kluwer arbitration blog, where with William, we discussed, William and Rob did a bunch of tests we did with Kleros, and in particular how different AI models reach different decisions on the same case, and how even a same family of a model, different versions. Yeah, in our case, we tested Claude 4.7 and 4.8, how they reach different decisions on the same case. So this is a really important topic for the future. So if you want to research these type of things, like empirical research about Kleros and AI, you want to research also legal issues of how this can be done in a compliant way to regulations about AI safety, so AI alignment, all that. So this is a really good topic for research. The use of privacy in Kleros, one of the main friction points in many use cases of Kleros was the fact that the data is by nature public, because of the nature of public blockchains is about transparency. But this is problematic for situations where you want to where you need confidentiality in the evidence or in the case information. So we have been doing lots of research about how you can combine the best of both worlds. On the one hand, the transparency of blockchains for trust of parties, but on the other hand, the idea of privacy and confidentiality for information. Then a bunch of applications coming from the side of law and how to integrate Kleros into legal framework for consumer disputes, how to integrate Kleros into the process of making decisions for consumer claims in different types of companies, similar to what we do with Lemon. Companies or municipalities, because we also work with governments, and in particular, there is this city called Junín in Argentina that uses Kleros for solving neighborhood disputes. Then we have other use cases regarding the use of Kleros into esports, gaming, content moderation, IP. Well, I mean, I don't want to just repeat what's on the blog post, because that's why we write the blog post, so I don't have to say it. So you can see there the blog post where you have all of the information. And yeah, it's open for anyone to apply and be part of this. And also in this edition, we also have a special track that is about decision markets, and this we are doing this in a bit of a different onboarding way for the selection of the fellows. So in the traditional fellowship track, we have a committee that decides. So we have applications, and the committee decides who they will accept based on the credentials, their interview. I mean, I personally interview everyone who wants to participate, and then of the many dozens that usually apply, we accept usually between 8 and 10, so we can keep it manageable, because we spend a lot of time of the team into helping our participants and mentoring them. So this is not something that we just do for marketing. This is actually I spend lots of my personal time for working with fellows into their research topic. For me, it's also a way to learn about Kleros use cases and what people see. So this is really so this is the committee selection process. But there is this tool called futarchy that is based on I would say it's kind of a tool that was used for allocating funds in collective projects, common good projects. It has some ideas if you are a bit older, participatory budgeting, where people can participate in allocating their municipality resources. But this is also a tool that could be used to select who to support with a limited funding amount of money that any project has. Like a city has a limited amount of money to allocate into different priorities, like transit, like education, health, or whatever. So you can have people deciding what they want to do, and then that's good. But you could also use futarchy to decide. Okay, you have these different ideas of what you could do for the funding, and then you can have people vote on what goals they want to achieve, and then you can have this tool called prediction markets to predict what is the best way to achieve those goals that the community wants to achieve, those metrics that the community has agreed. So in this case, Kleros, we have discussed this different times in different calls, but Kleros, one of the applications is this distributed solution for these prediction markets. And also we, as governance project, we also experiment with these innovative tools for decision making in different contexts. One of the products we have is called Foresight. It is about how to implement these ideas into making decisions for, generally speaking, for DAOs, because that's where these innovations tend to be more important at the moment. But this could be, and we expect this to be adopted at a wider scope in more traditional municipalities, traditional cities, and traditional any project where you have a collective decision to be not done about funding between competing priorities, and you could use basically these tools. And then we are doing a special track of the fellowship that we are going to use these futarchy tools in order to decide what fellows to accept into the fellowship, into this track. So people can make a proposal of what they want to research, and then other participants in the market can make their predictions of who of these participants is going to have a higher likelihood of achieving the goals that they want to achieve, a higher impact for Kleros. And this could be in having more integrations, having more people use Kleros. So the question is, what of those 10, 15 or whatever participants that want to make the fellowship, want to be part of it, who does the community of traders think has a higher likelihood of succeeding into helping Kleros achieve these goals? Okay, so this is an experiment we're doing. This is a completely different selection process. So in this case, the question is, we have different metrics we want to achieve in terms of how much value is secured by Kleros, how many disputes this type of research can bring, and others. And in the same sense that a city has different goals to achieve, and then we want to know, okay, we have limited money to fund these researchers, so to who of these researchers the company or Kleros should allocate those funds based on what we think is going to have highest impact. So this is the idea of how this works, and this is an experiment that we are doing to see if this selection process can work. So you have different projects which are in this part different researchers, and then we need to see which one the community thinks should receive the funding for their research. So if you are into prediction markets, futarchy, and governance innovation, you can apply to this, and it's a cool way to learn about also like a new type of decision market. So I don't know, Jean, if it was understandable what I tried to explain. This is quite complex topics, you know.
Yeah, it's quite complex, but I think like one of the most interesting things is like if you really believe in the power of prediction markets, or how we are calling now decision markets, use it. Then you need to use it, and this is like the perfect way of using it. And probably the people most interested in participating in an experiment like this are the ones that are willing to want to research this type of thing. So I think it's perfect. I think probably we'll see what the results are, but I think
we have no idea how this is going to work. But I mean, we have no idea. This is the first time we do something like this, so I guess we will see. I was mentioning before in the team calls, like I mean, I'm probably the first person ever to teach prediction markets in Spanish at a university. Like it was like 15 years ago. I was teaching, Hayekian Austrian economics, and how markets assign gave price signals about how the information flows in a community. And then by this type of research, I got into touch with a book that was curated edited by Hélène Landemore. Hélène Landemore is a expert in collective intelligence. She's a professor. She's French. She's at Yale teaching now. And then by then, and she was also, by the way, a few years ago in France, they did this Convention Citoyenne pour le Climat, where they put like a number of citizens deliberating in small groups with about advising the French government on policy for climate change and what should government do. And then they took a random sample of citizens and they put them to deliberate into a structured setting, and then for them to produce advice for the government to implement on the particular. This was sponsored by Macron, and it was a good experiment. So this was organized by Hélène. Hélène, I mean, I've known her for a long time. She was in our podcast too, and actually, I got to know prediction markets in that book. I don't know, maybe this was 2013. Maybe this was before Augur. I mean, for you to know. And I wrote the first article about prediction markets, also in Spanish, where I made an edit like 1 month after publishing that article to tell people, hey guys, there is this thing called Augur coming soon, a prediction market built on crypto rails. Then there is a lot of other things that happened after the Hayek article. This was a 1945 article, and then this was picked up by a bunch of researchers, visionaries of the internet. One was Mark Miller, who also was in our podcast, and Robin Hanson, who also was in our podcast. So I mean, everyone who was the who is who of the information market was in our podcast, and they were also people who were building new and different topic. I mean, different architecture for the internet called the Xanadu project that was pioneered by a guy called Ted Nelson. So you had Ted Nelson architecture of the internet, and you had the Tim Berners-Lee architecture of the internet. You guess which one won? Yeah, Tim Berners-Lee, and this produced a lot of problems because of a big tech concentration of power. I mean, I'm not going to go to that rabbit hole now, but someday if you want, we can do a. But so coming back to what we were discussing. All of these guys were thinking of information markets in the 1970s, by the way, and then Agoric systems well, okay, guys, apply to the prediction market, information markets, fellowship. Because I mean, this is so passionate. I mean, yeah, Jim, please, you rescue me from this.
I think it's a great topic to get into, but maybe on another call. But I think, like, even if you ignore all the prediction market thing of this project, there's one thing that I think it's very interesting, and it's the first time that we do, at least as far as I know, is that we are rewarding people if they get to a live application of their project. So it's kind of you can also see this as a bounty or a referral program to get a really like a live integration. I think this is like the most concrete thing that we have on this program, apart of the experimentation.
It's also like an impact funding thing. You have like lots of people. I mean, this you could use this for like charities. Like you have like a Bill Gates Foundation or whatever foundation, and they need to decide what metrics they want to achieve with the funds, and then they have to decide among different projects that people are proposing which one will get the funding, and then you can have like some traders participate in this market through trading, and then the one who gets higher value will get the funding. So this is the main idea. There's lots of controversy about this market, in the sense that if they are not well structured, then they could there's concerns about insider trading. There's even a John Oliver monologue about the risks of prediction markets, which is really reasonable. I mean, they are great tools for some things, but they need to be used in some context with appropriate guardrails, I guess, just as AI, because they both have a potential of going the wrong direction. And why not? We could also say the same about nuclear energy, right? I mean, it has good applications, but without proper care, it could end also badly. So if you are into this, which I think it's really cool. I think it's lots of things to learn here about decision markets. You can apply to this, make a proposal, participate by trading, and that's an experiment we're doing. Let's see how it happens, how it goes. Okay.
Yeah, I think we can.
Someday I can make a longer presentation about about the history of Agoric and all that, because this is so cool. Yeah, Jean, please.
Yeah, I think we need to have Alex and Clement again in the live stream to explain a little bit like the reasoning that they had about this, and maybe talk a bit about the projects that they would like to see in the fellowship. Maybe next week.
Absolutely. Okay. So fellowship already had in the normal track already had a bunch of applicants. Really. I mean, the level of applicants of the fellowship is going up like a lot, because there's more people, because there's more. Kleros is better known, so there's more people who apply, and so this is great already. And I do personally the interviews, and I started doing I already did like 20 this week, and so and I'm going to do more tomorrow. And we have people from Israel, Mexico, have France, US. Some of them are like lawyers from a very high level, like law firms, associations of legal associations. But some of them are researching even like privacy, private cloud, lots of things from. The recruiting is going really well. I mean, and at every cohort, I think it becomes better. I mean, I don't know, because there's more graduates and Kleros is better known, and there's more critical mass of people who want to. I mean, if you were in the first cohort, you really took the chance of Kleros just disappearing in 2 months after your fellowship. Now it's a bit it's a Lindy effect, I would say.
I will add one thing, is that now we have the consumer disputes that were basically got lots of volume the last year or so, and even the cases that are in different industries that we have in Junín, like airline, e-commerce, things like that we didn't have previously. So it's really more material for the fellows to work with, right?
Perfect. Okay, let's got here the fellowship thing. And I think we have Fortunato maybe now for, yeah. Hello, Fortunato. How are you?
Hey, hello everyone. I'm great. Thanks. And you?
Good haircut. Great haircut.
Thank you. They are growing. They are growing back.
It's like a bit, Jean. It looks a bit like Elvis kind of haircut. Doesn't like yeah. I mean, you could.
Yeah, maybe for the front part.
Yeah.
Next
could
week
be
I
our.
we come with a shiny jacket. Yeah, we come with a shiny jacket next week.
Perfect. Okay. Well, let's get to it, Fortunato. What do we have for today?
I would like to share some updates related to Scout, to the user interaction. In fact, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, perfect. You can see that. We made some changes in the interface as we want to make the user experience better. And in this case, the changes are mostly related to tracking past submissions. For example, now, if you previously submitted an item, you know that you have your personal page. And we added more information, such as the how many bounties you earned from previous challenges. This is a user with pending. These are all live pending submission. You will see the past history, so how much money you made in past with challenging other entries, and how much PNKs you earned by submitting compliant entries. Also, you can see entry by entry, which one were rewarded, which one were not, because as you know, we run an incentive program to have more entries that then will be pushed to our partners. And also in curation, we have kinda our Messi and Ronaldo, which are users who really make a lot of challenges or a lot of submissions. For example, this user here made more than $3,000 over 66 challenges and 70,000 PNKs in new submission. And yeah, there was another one that I saved, but yeah, I must have closed the page. Another important information is that we will share today the incentives updates, and we are changing some block explorers of some for compatibility reasons. So we will move Gnosis and ZK Sync to Blockscout. And talking about Blockscout, another thing I want to announce is that now we also support entries on Robinhood Chain. So you can submit entries on Robinhood Chain and they will be rewarded. You will see this in an article that we are going to share today, and you will have all the information you need. Another thing that I wanted to add, actually other two things that I wanted to add on this matter is that with these rewards that some of the submitter get, you can stake on court. You can use these PNKs to stake on court, and first you will earn an APY. So whether you are drawn as a juror or not, every month you will get your staking rewards, and there are some users who really are getting good money out of it. And second, you can be drawn as a juror. So we have plenty of active courts right now. We have courts on curation, hidden court. We have the humanity court, and then we also have a JavaScript court, which is a bit more technical, and it gives around $25 per juror. So you have plenty of ways to use these PNKs. And the other thing that I wanted to share is that all this process that I'm sharing, challenging, submitting, staking, voting, you can leverage the skills already. And you can create your bot, create your agent, and have a continuous interaction of submitting, challenging, staking, voting. you can do everything. We have also plenty of documentation on Mintlify. And regarding the skills, the one for curate are already all up to date. The one for court, we are building them because there is more work that we are doing there with MCP, CLI. You will hear more about that in I would say in the next days or week. So yeah, these are the main updates.
So I have this question. So let's say, I want to teach my mom to make one of these bots for challenge. I mean, she's retired. I mean, she could totally use another source of income. I mean, how does she start? She needs to. How does one start to build one of these agents?
Does she ever used even the most basic AI agent, even like a chatbot?
Because I mean, yes, she uses like ChatGPT, asks questions and does research with that. So she's quite technically savvy, but like the basic, tools, just asking stuff of her interest. One of the things that she uses, most ChatGPT, is when she has some problem with her computer. She used to call me, look, Federico, I have this problem with my computer. I mean, there is this thing. Half of the time it's because she clicked into a malicious link, because it's hard sometimes, if you are not very into the cybersecurity space as we are, you get some links that are malicious. But sometimes, it's just that her computer has something that's not working, and she used to call me. Now she asks ChatGPT, and I am only the second layer of resolution after ChatGPT did not give her the answer. So she has some use of GPT. So yeah, I mean, assume she knows a bit of it.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah. So as you can see already in this page, she has to just copy prompt, click the link, put it in her favorite chatbot, and I think the best part is that from there on, she can take it because she can ask everything to the agent. Because sometimes I think we give too much context and try to force some information, but I think the best course of event is that after she copies this prompt, she will know everything. Because in that case, she may ask, for example, I want to make extra money, right? And the chatbot will answer, Kleros is running incentive program, and you can instruct me, the agent, to submit recurrently. And she will ask, okay, perfect, let's start doing this. And the agent then will help her step by step. Or also, maybe she can ask, you don't know, but she is running a new crypto project. It is a fresh crypto project, and she wants this to be to be featured on the block explorers and wallets. She can ask, okay, how do I have the tag of my crypto project on Etherscan, on Blockscout, on MetaMask Snap? She will copy this prompt and then ask the agent, and the agent will tell her step by step. Because if me or you or whoever would start, forcing into people like you have to do this and that, they have their own agent, probably with their agent have the tone adjusted, have the level of skills adjusted. Because I find that sometimes, when you explain anything to someone, you don't know. If I over-explain, maybe I assume my counterpart is stupid. If I don't explain enough, maybe no, it's true. If I don't explain enough, maybe the counterpart will not be able to understand. So just copy this prompt, and from there onward, whatever you want to do, your agent will have the complete context to help her. She wants to make money, she wants to be a juror, she wants her project to be tagged. Just have to ask the agent, and it will guide her step by step. This is, I think, the best suggestion I can give.
So she can have one of these agents work on her behalf, and it could be submitting, being a juror. And so this is something that you could do if you're retired, if you are like a student, if you are if you are working but you need some more money. I mean, so this is cool. and people need to pay an extra, like if you run an agent in ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, you need to pay for an extra subscription, or the basic subscription is enough?
The basic subscription is enough, of course. Is like everything, I would say, in our economy. If she wants better performance, of course she will need a higher subscription. To give an example, if she wants the agent to work night and day, maybe she will need a VPS, maybe she will need a computer, a laptop running 24/7, or if she wants a model that has better research capabilities, maybe Gemini can find more tags that are not tagged yet. But she can definitely start with the free models. Actually, that's good that you bring this, because after we iterate with these skills, we always test with some basic and free models to see if they can grasp. Of course, like an advanced model, codex, cloud code installed, they can set more skills, more plugins, more automation. But if she's completely blank from this, she can already get the potential of these agents. Of course, for example, to delegate to an agent, the agent needs to have its own wallet, right? And for this, maybe a better model would be recommended to delegate. But if she wants to do on, the agent just bringing the information and then she manually, for example, she copied this to agent. The agent prepared the submission for her, the free tier, and then she fills the fields, and that's all. Then she starts filling the field manually, and she can move from there. She gets, I don't know, the first 10,000 PNKs, she reinvests them for a better model, and she keeps running. Or maybe, she's a very precise person and she wants to get money with challenges. We have hundreds of entries that are like in registration request state, and some of them we have like some disputes that are running. So really, she can do whatever suits her best.
I mean, I'm sure I'm going to back next month to visit her. Like, my ex room is going to be full of Mac Minis, like
stacked one of each other.
Don't get into trouble, mom, please. Yeah, I mean, she can perfectly tell me, look, man, I mean, I'm from a poor country. You know how much money the government gives me as a pension. I mean, I need to do something for a living, and that's how you turn my mom into like complete degen. And next thing she knows is like creating a DeFi protocol. Yeah. So yeah. Well, Jean, any comment about this?
Yeah, I would give recommendation for maybe like someone more advanced, maybe like a computer science student or someone that already knows a bit of coding. I think the basic setup to really have like to make like multiple submissions per month and earn like a really a better amount of money would be to have maybe the basic Claude submission or the basic ChatGPT subscription, and use the desktop app. Now ChatGPT has Codex in it, so it has like this agent system on it. Then with using the prompt, you can basically copy the skills locally and already have like all the basics that can be reused every time. And another thing is that you can create the wallet and store it on your computer. There are other ways of using a wallet, but there are some really basic ones for a small amount of money that store it on your computer. And then basically what the skills and instructions that we have on the page they give are the basic like complete information about the system, about how to make a submission, about how the process works, about how to consult the registry and all of that. But one thing that is let's say the secret sauce of every person is is how to find the right things to submit and this is something that each person can use other different systems, different pages, different sources to find, for example, which token is trending, which DeFi protocol was launched, and all of that. And well, then we don't have instructions for that, because the idea is that each person needs to find their own system. So yeah, these are my recommendations.
Okay,
Very
well,
well
that's great.
said, yeah. Yeah.
I guess, the thing I find fascinating is that, this is something you can do, like, it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, you learn the skills, you learn how to do these things. It's a bit complicated at the beginning, but then it's not. And then you have your grandchildren maybe can help you with that. And then you can make some money through, being wherever you are. And this is a kind of a meritocratic, thing, because everyone has the same access to this type of tools, which is one of the motivations I had when starting Kleros. Have some enabling this type of people everywhere, becoming part of the world economy through proper governance tools. So, ma'am, there you go. So
Yeah,
you can start tomorrow.
I don't want to unleash and open like a huge Pandora box of this, but I think it's quite obvious that this is the future of the economy and how it will look like. There will be mini tasks executed by agents, of course, by AI models, and that's how the future will look like. There will be an agent ultra optimized in submitting new information. There will be another one ultra optimized in checking if the informations are correct. This is how the economy is gonna look like. I mean, we are just a part of it, but this is valid for every potential field. This is how it will look like. And we are early on this, but if you learn how to use our skills today, they can still be used for even other purposes. You will have your agent expert in mini jobs and also an expert in Kleros and Court, which will be extremely important.
I have one other disclaimer.
One last thing about the topic, and let's move on. Jean, last comment.
Like before you make any transaction with funds and giving funds to your agent, you need to make sure you're following the right procedure, and we are not responsible for what can go wrong, because this is still very experimental. So if you can consult friends that know more about this, or if you want to ask us in the group to give it a look, feel free to do that before risking funds.
Thank you, Fortunato. Let's go to, we have Lucía. Maybe let's go with Lucía, because last week I think she didn't get to present. Hello, Lucía. How are you?
Hello, guys. How are you? How are you doing? How's everything going?
All great. Tell us, what do you have for today?
Yes, for today, I wanted to share maybe the government page, the government new page. I don't know, Jean, if you have it there, or if you want me, I can share my screen. So maybe...
Jean can put it there. So you can explain, and Jean will figure this out.
Yeah, in the meantime, I will explain. So as you know, in the past time, we have been working very closely on our GovTech sector, like Kleros for Governments, and we wanted to create a specific landing page of Kleros for Government, because of course the communication, the target, it's very different than other type of people that we usually talk to. So for government, we really wanted to have like a, let's say, institutional landing page, and that's why we created this specific one. I am not sure, Shin, if you can maybe with the automatic, Google Translator, if you can put it in English. I don't know if that's possible. If not, I can.
The agentic, let's see. There you can see, it's cool, because this is targeted at like mostly, it's in Spanish, because where we have more users in this type of product is Spanish-speaking countries. This is why it's in Spanish, and then it's explained, how Kleros can help you if you are the leader of like the local government. If you are, there you go. So Maria Fernanda Diaz is a judge from Mendoza who was a pioneer with us in the work of dispute resolution for consumer claims in the small claims panels in Mendoza. This is an area of Argentina, and then these are where we can use these topics, consumer protection, mediation centers, and small claims, basically, right? So and this is the goal for this website, is to give like more of a easy way for anyone working for cities, for municipal government, and for to have like in a nutshell what Kleros can do for you, right?
Yes, for sure. And also we added the typical questions that we are asked usually. So I think it will be very, very useful, because usually they ask us to share materials and more information. So it's great to have everything at one glance. And we are also developing other specific landing pages for the private companies, also with two different, I would say, two different objectives, because one of those landing pages is more related with like the benefit of reducing legal costs, and the other one is more related with reducing the potential reputational damage. So we are building those ones, and once we have them, I can also share them here. And apart from the landing page, we are also advancing a lot with this new process for sending the evidences more privately. Because as you know, many potential partners asked us for the evidence to be sent in a more private way. And we were developing alongside Facundo, who is the legal, the lawyer in our team. And right now we are still finishing some details, but I think that this week we will upload the first cases with this specific process. The process, it's mainly the same. The only thing that changes is the way that we share with jurors the evidence. So basically, in the past, we uploaded the evidence in our court and everyone can see the evidence, and that evidence will be there forever. And also we anonymized, of course, the private data. But now the main difference will be that the evidence, we will only share it with the specific jurors that are drawn to that case for a specific amount of time, and only them will have the access to that evidence. The rest of the process will be the same, but I think it's going to be a huge change for us, and it will open us many doors. So luckily this week we will upload the first case with this new process.
This is going to remove a very important friction point for the adoption of Kleros in enterprise settings, in particular for governments, companies. They need some confidentiality of information that was not easy to do before. We have put a lot of thought into this, and we have a solution that removes this friction, at least in a significant amount of cases, and this is going to be, great for adoption. Anything else, Lucía?
I think those are the two main important updates. Of course, as usual, we keep talking with people, with leads. We are also doing some deep research on what events we want to participate related with GovTech events. So talking with a lot of people that can, we want to start sharing also in this type of events to meet the target that we are looking for governments. But I think that those are the main updates on my side. Next week, I can come up and talk a bit more about these Hunin cases that we will be uploading this week.
Perfect. Thank you, Lucía.
Thank you.
And last but not least, let's have William. Yeah. Hello, William. How are you?
Hey, everybody. Doing well.
Good. Let's, since we are speaking of privacy, Tell us a bit in general how we are approaching this idea of privacy in course. And I mean, next week at some point you will make a longer presentation, but explain in a nutshell what we are doing, what are the challenges, and how we are thinking about solving them.
Yeah, it's intrinsically challenging, not so much because Kleros is a blockchain-based platform. Blockchains are typically, very public. You see all the transactions, but more so because Kleros is a crowd-based platform. Like our decisions are made by the crowd. And like, at some level, if you want like crowd-based decisions, people in the crowd need to see your evidence. So, like the sort of natural approaches you can take, okay, like I'm only going to like show the evidence to like the specific jurors who were drawn, I'm going to encrypt it somehow. And then you have all kinds of interesting questions about like, how can I like make sure those people are like trustworthy, or compatible, like, like how like, make sure some kind of verification of like those jurors that, my competitor should not be one of the jurors who was drawn in my case. And then like, this gets into sort of like kind of the better, like the progress that we've had around decentralized identity technology, where you can filter based on people that have like a proof of humanity profile, maybe have some kind of SPT, and do like a filtering on the jurors, and then potentially, try to like put in place like an incentive structure on the jurors for them to not reveal the confidential evidence, which is robust enough, to meet whatever use case you have. And then like, so that's sort of for human being jurors. And what's particularly interesting and, maybe new, is that there's some progress over the last, couple of years around if you have LLM jurors, which is something that's obviously become much more realistic, recently. How can you have them handle private evidence? And there you have like a totally different tool set. So there's like lots of interesting stuff you can do that's related to kind of trusted computing, uses like specialized hardware, where you can like design LLMs that will analyze your case and give a response, but the like LLM company, and like potentially even the operator of the LLM, like the human being behind that LLM juror, cannot look at the confidential evidence that the LLM used to make that decision.
And what are the particular like challenges? I mean, how we are thinking, because we have cryptography tools, but there's also, this doesn't cover everything, in particular when there are humans involved, right? And how are we combining like cryptography and legal obligations for this?
Yeah, so I mean, like any private evidence is going to be encrypted somehow and sent to the jurors, whether those jurors are human beings or AIs. So there's always cryptography, in any private evidence system. And then like the sort of question, the next layer is how do you disincentivize, ideally prevent the jurors from just revealing the information anyway. And there you have all kinds of like, economic incentives, like the sort of AI tools have specific hardware, like things you can do for kind of the approach we're taking for the kind of more Kleros enterprise cases is to have like KYC jurors that have been vetted somehow. And then because you know who they are, like, if the evidence is leaked, you have some like way of holding them responsible, which is more similar to what you do in kind of like a Web2 setting. And initially, at least, this process is sort of centralized. The KYC process is done by a single entity, so there's like a centralization there. However, you can imagine like a metaphor that I have for this is that you can imagine kind of like potential ways where you can at least partially decentralize such a process like that, where maybe you can be, maybe in order to be a juror in a private evidence kind of case, you need to be KYC'd by like an authorized KYC provider. But maybe there's like a curated list of people who can KYC you. You only need to be KYC'd by one. So like if someone tries to censor you, you have like recourse. And I feel that this is like a trust model, which is very similar to how you manage public key infrastructures. If anybody's familiar with that, for like how certificates are attributed for websites. You can get your certificate from like different points of like trust that are all sort of like, ultimately the like line of trust comes back to who your browser trusts, which comes back to who your like computer trusts. But like there are a whole bunch of different certificate authorities. You only need one. And it's just a matter of having like one of these groups like do some due diligence on you.
How is this, William? How is this different from like the vouching mechanism for humanity? Because you have verified people who can vouch for you as a verified whatever, right?
Yeah, I mean it's related. Like ultimately, like you know, you want to like do due diligence to make sure that someone is, you know, like qualified by whatever legal standards the your company has, to like look at the private evidence, in like some jurisdictions that can have all kinds of requirements. So I mean like there's a whole set of like the diligence someone does on you, which is similar to the vouching mechanism. But then I'd say there's this extra step where like kind of like the information about who you are needs to be remembered by like a path that can be followed if there's a problem, to enforce kind of incentive, like so like the juror needs to be like afraid that if they release the private information that there will be consequences. So there needs to be sort of like a memory in the system of that.
Like some guy coming and breaking the legs of the juror if they release information. I'm joking.
They might be like sued or something under the applicable laws with the jurisdiction they were operating in.
Yeah, if the jurisdiction forbids breaking the legs of people. No, I'm joking. Okay. Okay, well, so these are the things. Incentives are everywhere, guys. So these are some of the ideas we have for the privacy course. I mean, William will make a presentation soon enough. So first, I think a short one for you to understand, because one of the tracks of the fellowship is about having people research these topics, because as we have many ideas, but as we can put more brains into it, we are going to have better research and better solutions. So if you are interested in this, I mean, reach to us. You can apply for the fellowship about privacy. Yeah, go ahead with that. And and we will have. I mean, you will hear lots more of this from us, because this is one of the topics that we are researching mostly at the moment. So thank you, William, and let's go with Jean for final thoughts for today. I mean, we cover a lot of ground, honestly. You know, we started, decision markets, and then like Agoric, Hayek, and then we went to AI agents. We explained how to make an AI agent to my mom, who is a retired person in Argentina, and she needs some extra cash every month. And then, agentic economy, municipalities. So now she can make an agent to resolve cases in her municipality and city. And then privacy course, cryptography, legal obligations. And I mean, I don't know what else can we, like, we cover the world, in this.
Yeah, it's, we touched everything. So one thing, since we're short on time, one thing I want to mention is that Marino and the team are working on a page that shows the different rewards that we share, which we distribute for stakers, for people that submit on Curate. And this one is the page for Curate. And you can see not only which addresses received the rewards, but you can also see what is the progress over time, like how many entries we get every month, and also how many PNK we are distributing for each submission which accepted. And I think it's pretty interesting to see like the decrease in this PNK per submission. And I think we will probably see a bigger decrease now that we have these AI tools, the AI skills, more people automating their submissions.
Yeah. This is a great metric, like the cost per submission of what it costs in general to have one more entry in the database. It's going like down by a lot. So like this is more efficiency in how the system works. So this is exactly what we expect to see, right?
Yeah. I'm very curious to see like what will happen in the next couple of months. I'm sure that we will be cutting half.
Yeah, hopefully. And also we have this, and we have a bunch of new things we are developing. I mean, so this is a good way for the community to see, for transparency on how rewards are distributed. So there you can see all of the rewards. We are also working on some like internal revamp of accounting, so we can share with community how the money is spent in different projects within Kleros. You have like different units, different products, and so people want reasonably to know how this is spent within different topics, and this is something we are going to release. We are internally making this accounting system for this to be automated, so it doesn't take much time. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be released as soon as we finish it. And yeah, so I guess that's it for today. Anything else from Eugene?
Yes, the last thing for me is the hidden vaulting court on Gnosis chain that we launched, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. It already received the first cases. And one important reminder is that for vaulting, you need 2 transactions. You need to commit the vault, so decide on the vault, write the justification, and then reveal the vault on a separate period. And you, of course, you receive the notifications to do these 2 parts of the process, but just want to remind you that you need to do the 2 transactions for your votes to count. And that's it.
Thank you very much, guys. And well, see you next week at the next community call. Bye-bye.
See you.
See you.